Welcome. We are so glad that you are joining us today. My name is Gary Burge, and I belong to a circle of Christian scholars with long experience in the Middle East. We refer to this series as CFIP, or a Christian Forum on Israel and Palestine. Each episode will host a guest with a profound personal or professional experience in this subject. Our hope is that these interviews will be fair, stimulating, and take us behind the curtain with respect to Israel-Palestine. These conversations will be live streamed on YouTube, and they will be permanently then archived there. If you subscribe to this YouTube channel, you will be notified when a new episode is coming. Each meeting will present our guests' views and then open to a wider conversation with our CFIP panel. For this episode, I will be joined by my colleagues, Drs. Rob Dalrymple, Bruce Fisk, and David Crump. Two more, Michael Thompson and Ross Wagner, will not be with us today. Together, we will be talking to Munther Amira, a man who has just been released from an Israeli prison. But before we get there, let's talk about Israel and its military prisons. In recent weeks, major news outlets like CNN and the New York Times have been reporting on Israel's practice of capturing ordinary citizens in both the West Bank and in Gaza. They then subject them to shocking abuse. So far, over 4,000 Gazans and as many also in the West Bank have been seized by soldiers. Israeli whistleblowers in the prisons have now supplied us with photos and narratives that have stunned the world and questioned Israel's moral or immoral behavior. These detainees hear no charges. They see no courtroom and cannot receive aid from outside relief organizations. These whistleblowers have corroborated what we've learned from detainees who have been released. Israel will not permit observers to see inside these detention centers, but now these disclosures show the concealment of gross crimes that have shocked the world. Now, let's be clear. These men are not convicted criminals. They have been swept up off the street, especially in Gaza, stripped of their clothes, piled literally onto military trucks, and taken to military prisons by the thousands. Some refer to it as Israel's kidnapping spree run amok during the war. But we in the West never hear about it. But we are going to discuss this today. When we post this live stream on YouTube, we'll include links to a number of relevant articles so that you can learn more if you would like to follow further investigations. We're about to meet one of these men and hear his account firsthand, and we think you'll find it gripping and important. Our discussion host today is Dr. David Crump. David was a senior professor of New Testament at Calvin University in Michigan and has written one of the most important volumes on Christian Zionism called Like Birds in a Cage, Christian Zionism's Collusion in Israel's Oppression of the Palestinian People. So David, welcome. Thank you for hosting today. Help us get to know our subject as well as Munther Amira.
Yes, thank you, Gary, for that introduction. And thank you, Munther, for joining us today. It's good to see you and good to have you with us.
Thank you.
I know that you're a social worker, and I know that you describe yourself as a nonviolent activist. Maybe for the sake of our audience and your introduction, you can explain a little bit about what you mean when you call yourself a nonviolent activist and the kind of work that you do.
Yes, Yani, from the beginning, thank you for giving us the floor to speak about our suffering, about maybe our dreams, our things that we are doing on the ground with the people. I would consider myself peace activist, nonviolent activist, human rights defender. All these are together here in the Palestinian land. The first thing that I would tell you I'm doing, trying to raise the voice of the victims here on the ground, telling the people the stories of the people, trying to stop demolishing houses, trying to help the people to stay on their lands, to help them to continue their lives, to do demonstrations against the occupation, to end this occupation and to live in peace, to raise the voice of the Palestinians that the people think that we want to throw the Jewish people into the sea. No, it's not the reality. We want to live in peace. This is what we want together, all together, to live. This is the land for all the people, not just for Palestinians or for the Israelis. This is what we are trying to tell, to raise the voice of the normal people on the ground, what they want. They want to live in peace and dignity. This is what we meant by nonviolent activists, to end this conflict without killing people, without killing 40,000 people in Gaza. Yes, to demolish more than the half of the houses there in Gaza. Even we don't want any people to be killed on both sides, Israel and Palestine. To show the suffering of 10,000 Palestinian prisoners who are dying now, day and night. You could not. Sometimes I would tell you it's easy to be killed or to die. Maybe it's a weird thing, but it's very hard to die every day, at the morning, at afternoon, at the night. You are waiting your death. It's horrible. You could not imagine how we are suffering as Palestinians, not just in Gaza. In Gaza, it starts being clear how they are doing the things with the people, because the blood is all over. But here, it's a silent crimes happened, that the people, they can see Gaza, but they could not see what's happening here. That we have more than the space of Gaza we lost in the West Bank. They are controlling it. Ben Gvir and Smotrich, this crazy government now, they confiscated the land. They threw the 25 Bedouin communities, Palestinian communities, since the 7th of October. They are out. Imagine that Ben Gvir is the one who is responsible to run the Israeli jails. We have 10,000 Palestinian prisoners. More than 6,500 of them, they are under administrative detention, which means that they are there without any kind of charges. They just collected us because we are trying to speak. We are trying to post on Facebook. I'm not a criminal. I didn't do anything even, serious to be in prison. I was just speaking. So even to speak, you will be in prison, and you will be tortured in a very aggressive way. I can tell you many stories. I can share with you many stories inside prison. So what I'm trying to do is, I want to raise the voice of these victims.
Yeah.
Let's hear more about your own personal story.
Yeah.
Munther, can you tell us more about your own personal story, about your arrest and what happened?
I can tell you. From the first moment, they are trying to humiliate you. From the first moment, they came into my house in Area A, which means that it has to be under the control of the Palestinian Authority. I found that my house full of soldiers. They, by a mistake, they enter into my mother's house. They brought my brother from there and they start beating him till he reached my house. He lost conscious. They threw him into the salon and they start asking about me. I told them, I'm here. I don't know how they entered into the house. They just broke the door and came in. I found my sons have been handcuffed. My daughter trying to catch me, she was afraid. They threw her, and one of the commanders told the others, take her away. Or take her without away. I thought that they are coming to arrest Yumna, my daughter. I was shocked. I fall down. So I just saw my little kid while they were he was handcuffed, and they start cutting his t-shirt on him just because he had the map of Palestine into his t-shirt. This was just the beginning. This is the fifth time in Israeli jails for me. It's normal. But this, in this aggressive way, it's too high. I left my house. I don't know what happened with my children, with my brother. I thought he was killed. He was thrown, losing conscious. So this is just the beginning of a very hard journey that I found myself on the street. My daughter starts screaming on me, trying to tell me, "Dad, I love you. بحبك." So I told her, "أنا بحبك. I love you too. Don't worry." So the last words I spoke was, "أنا بحبك. I love you." I found myself in the middle of more than 20 soldiers beating me till they reach into the entrance of the military basement near the camp. And this is a new experience. They threw me into a truck. The only way for the soldiers to enter into this truck was my body. More than 10 soldiers went through my body to enter into this truck. I said, "Okay, we will be in prison, and I have to accept. But I will be in prison. It will be easier." 12 hours I was handcuffed from one military basement to another, doing plays on me that they were telling me, "We will send you to Gaza." I don't know why. I was trying to tell them, why sending me to Gaza? I start drawing, image how I will be in Gaza and how they will kill me there. At the end, I found myself in a military basement called Asyon, which contains small prison. They enter me inside this prison, this military basement, into an office. Until I reach this office, I have to walk on my legs and hands, and my face have to be on the ground always, beating you till you reach this office. And they ask me to take off my clothes. So usually they are doing it to do the security check, but you will leave your underwear there. So they asked me to take my underwear. I refuse. This was a big mistake that I refused. They start beating me until I was on the ground. They forced me to take my underwear, and they said, "Let's بוא נתחיל ההצגה," in Hebrew. Let's start the party. So this time the party started. When they kicked two soldiers, I was thrown on the ground. Two soldiers catch me and force me to stand up. Touching you, one of the worst things that you would experience. It is like I didn't know before what is the meaning of sexual harassment or sexual, I don't know what we would call it. But touching you was a very hard thing. They forced me to stand up, and they start asking me to stand, to raise my leg and to raise my hands and to go down, up. Through this thing, they start checking me with a device called magnometer. It's a very long one. They check my body in like 2 seconds, but when they reach between my legs, they start playing with this machine and asking me to go down, and they would raise me like this to go up. It was hard. My dream was to end this. Take me out, beating me as much as you want, but please, just give me back my clothes. This is the only thing that I want, to have my clothes back and do whatever you want. Handcuff me again. Even I was trying to find my hands after 12 hours. handcuffed with a plastic thing. So it was very hard, plastic handcuffs. It's worse than the iron ones. So I just want to find my hands. I want to have my clothes and again to go to the cell. They took me to my cell, which was my dream. I thought it is like before. To find a place full of people, how to have the food like animals. The only word that they used to use, حيوانات, animals. We are animals. Dealing with us like animals. So I spent there 3 days eating like the animals, moving like the animals, on four in your hands and in your feet, till I reach us Offer prison, and it's the same. You have to enter into this prison, taking your clothes again. They took it. But this time I agree. I don't want to pass this experience again. I thought that, yes, خلاص, just check, and they did it again. You have to go up, down, searching with the magnetometer, humiliating you. Yalla, yalla, yalla. To take me back.
And they weren't asking you any questions.
Yes. We
There
start
was
with
no interrogation.
They interrogate me again in offer, and it is very silly. I would tell you, it is very silly things that they were asking, that I was posting on Facebook, and you go through my Facebook. Yes, I put something about Gaza. The things was about children, our children in Gaza, how they are killed, and one of the posts that they were asking me about, يا مجانين غزة تعلمونا, the crazy people of Gaza, please teach us how you can continue your life under this aggression. And I put pictures of children who were dancing, not people who are killing, dancing, singing. I thought that these are the real crazy people who are doing this under this aggression and surrounded by this death. At the end, they told me, Mabruk, congratulations, that you will stay with us here as administrative detention prisoner. So I said, okay. I knew before, since I started being a nonviolent activist, they don't want us there. They are attacking us more than the military people, because they knew that we are going in the right way. We are doing it in a right way. We want to bring the people from all over to listen, to know, to experience. The Palestinian people are not killers. We are not terrorists. We are fighting for life, not for death. This is our message. If imagine that, if this is your message and you pass all this to go to the prison of Al-Far. Before, we used to have everything in prison. Not because of that Israel is a good state and they are implementing the human rights inside prison. It was because we used to fight for our rights. We were fighting to have cafe. Imagine this simple thing, or to have a pen, or to have a pencil, or to have book or papers, or to have a small radio, or to have a mattress, or 2 blankets for each prisoner, or to have a chest play, or all these small things that you need in your daily life. They took everything. I reached my cell. I found 13 people in a place have to be for 6 people, and it's empty. When I'm telling you it's empty, and it's empty, you don't have anything. Even they took. Imagine that they took the windows. It's without windows, and it was December. It was very cold. They are Even you don't have electricity. They are giving 4 hours electricity. And when I am telling giving electricity, it's just lights. They took the concom, they took everything, that the machine that heating the water, everything. You don't have anything there. So you have to live. You are isolated from your family. You don't have your medicine. The amount of food that you got, imagine like this plate that you have for 4 people. You can count the rice, how many rice you would have.
Mm.
Imagine at the morning, at the breakfast, you would have 2 spoons of jam for 13 people. You could not even smell the jam. You don't have salt with your food. You don't have any kind of sugar, just the jam that you have. You have nothing at all. And this is easy. And they are humiliating you 3 times a day under the title of that doing a security check. 3 times, starting from 4 o'clock in the morning. Adad mean counting, that they want to come and to count us. Adad, adad ya klab, dogs. Adad ya حيوانات. Adad with other words, very bad words against your mother, sister.
Munther, if I could ask you, you lost quite a bit of weight when you were in prison? Describe do you think that's a standard procedure to keep food away from you, so starvation really becomes a kind of form of
part
abuse?
of the torture. But please let me end the story of how they are counting us. Before they used to count us while we were standing. Now you have to be on your knees, and it's forbidden to have an eye contact with them. And they draw a yellow line. You have to go after the yellow line. So this is the one. 3 times a day humiliating you. You have to remember 3 times that you are here. I lost 33 kilos. It's not just me. If you would go to all the Palestinian prisoners after the 7th of October, you will see it clearly. I lost 33 kilos for 2 reasons, or for 3 reasons. The first reason, the amount of food. It would not be enough for a baby to continue life. The second one, because they did not give me my medicine. I have 2 kinds of medicine. One is for the blood pressure. They brought it after 3 weeks, and it was not the same kind. I don't know, but I start taking it because I need it. I was very close. High blood pressure is very dangerous. So I start taking it. And I have another problem with my prostate. So I was asking for the medicine, they refuse. When I was going to the bathroom, I had a lot of blood. I was bleeding. So I lost 33 kilos. When you would see me going out of prison, and we don't have even mirror to see ourselves. Imagine, I was shocked when I saw myself there. So yes, I lost. The third part, it is not the food and not the medicine. We were isolated. I didn't know anything about my family. So a lot of thoughts in your mind. I was very close to lose my mind thinking about Joanne, my little granddaughter. The devil came into your mind, start giving you black thoughts that she fall down, or about your wife, she's sick, or about your son, he's in prison, and start working. I think he's working with occupation, trying to broke you, and you don't have answers for all these things. Even your dreams, you don't have dreams there. Only bad things. And You have to deal with it. Till now, I'm thinking how I did it. I don't know, but I did it. I try my best. I have to be strong for my people, for my family. But always you have this bad thoughts about your family, and you don't have answer till maybe after 1.5 months. I had a visit from my lawyer. The first question I asked him, "How is Joan? Please tell me how is Joan. I don't want to know anything." And I fall down when I hear that she's okay. She was okay. This is how they are dealing. Even if you imagine that, I would share with you a story of a young people in the section that I was living in. They took a decision to suicide. In our culture, it's very bad thing, but they have no choice. They lost their minds and they decide that they want to kill themselves, to suicide. One of them, they did it. He climbed the fence 7 meters. He succeeded, and he threw himself from there. He was bleeding from his ears, from his nose, and we start calling the doctor to come and to see what is happening there. We are blocked inside our cells. So they did not bring the doctors. We start knocking the doors. Please, someone come. They came and they recognized that we were knocking the doors. And they were very angry because we were knocking the doors. So they said, okay. They took him and they threw him outside and they brought the cater. Cater means the unit of punishment. The unit came with two big dogs entering into our cell. We found ourselves on the corner, handcuffed, and they start throwing us out in front of 20 cells, 2 floors on each other's. My bad luck, I came on one of my colleagues. He was very old, so I tried my best, to move. They saw that I moved myself. They came, one of the guards came and he put his leg on my head and he started playing with his stick like this. You know, playing on my back with the stick until he reached between my legs and he started playing with the stick like this. My heart started knocking. And like one moment he knocked the stick between my. I was lucky that I moved myself. This is one of many times that they did it for us. And it's collective punishment. Even if I did a mistake, they will do that punishment for the whole cell. And they used to throw us into the showers room, coming back. And imagine, everything is systematic. This time they took all our clothes and they gave us the uniform of the prison. It is one of the worst fabric that you could use in winter and in summer even. You will be wet. You have just one uniform. You don't have two. You have to wait until you will be dry. This is the collective punishment. But if they would punish you as a person, it's worse. They used to take us if you do a mistake, like asking for your medicine, and it's for anything, any demand, you will be punished. They will take you to the makhlul. They call it al makhlul, the center of prison. There are like 4 cells there. And they will be handcuffed on your back like this from 6 a.m. till 10 p.m. And imagine you want to go to the bathroom and you don't have people with you. Sometimes you have people and they would help you to go to the bathroom, but most of the time you are alone. You have to do it on yourself. You will wait and wait and wait for someone to help. But in a certain time, you could not. You will wet yourself. At 10 o'clock, you will go back to your cell. Nobody will ask you why you are wet, because all of us, we know that nobody was there to help you go to the bathroom. And you will put yourself under your blankets, waiting to dry yourself. So it's very hard life there. It's not like before. I think it's like Guantanamo, Abu Ghraib.
Hmm.
And through the Ottoman Empire, they used to put the prisoners in caves or in water wells. It's the same, but it's a concrete ones with nothing, humiliating you every single moment. You hear the people crying, screaming, every single moment, breaking your heart. They are trying not just to break you, they are breaking our hearts. That you could not do anything, even asking for your rights. Simple thing, the amount of food. If you would ask, you will be punished. If you ask what happened with the war in Gaza, you will be punished. If you would ask if I can have a lawyer visit, you will be punished. If you ask for water, you will be punished. If you ask for the electricity, because it's dark, even in the daylight, for electricity, you will be punished. This is the life. Because of that, I told you from the beginning, they are alive martyrs because they are facing death day and night. You don't know when you will be killed. The last thing that I want to tell, the only thing that I was worried, I don't want to lose my mind. I was trying, I would accept to be killed, but I could not accept to be crazy. Just before 2 days, Muazzez Abayat, he's from Bethlehem.
Yeah.
He was out of prison. He lost his mind
Yeah.
totally. I was with him yesterday. I went to visit him in the hospital. He was speaking things out of the circle.
Wonder when these we of course know that men like yourself are taken into these camps. Are women ever taken to camps as well?
Women, Palestinian
Are
women.
women ever, Palestinian women ever taken off to detention?
Yeah. Ahd al-Tamimi, one of these women that she's not a woman even. She's a kid. She's a small child. She faced like 2 months. She refused to speak to the media, but I was with her. I heard very hard stories more than us. They put her with criminals, other women's, with drugs, with rapes, many things. They were trying. She could not even sleep. Because they would attack her anytime. Now, because she don't want to be back to the prison, she is not speaking about anything. She refused to speak. Even she was one of the strongest girls in Palestine. But now she refused to speak, and she's afraid to speak. Even me, they are trying to bother me many times. Like before 2 weeks, I was passing in a checkpoint. They blocked me for 4 hours, and they told me at the end, you will be blocked always. Every time we will catch you, we will block you, and we don't know when we will arrest you. But I'm under this threat because I start speaking to the people, and I will continue. I will not stop speaking. Even I will go again for this hard experience, but I think it's worth to send the message of these people to the whole world, to let the people knows how they are dealing with us. We are not criminals. I would tell you about, especially about the administrative detainees, that they have nothing. They took us as hostages. They are doing revenge.
Right. Munther, thank you so much again for sharing. And this is, it's hard for us to listen. I can only imagine what it's like for you. And one of the questions we actually have is, are you in danger by speaking to us?
Yes.
Does that put you in danger for being rearrested again, or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Because of that, I was in prison. I'm a nonviolent activist. I was doing
Right.
researches. I was trying, to do something to the people, to their daily life. But for me, yes,
Okay.
I would accept to pay the price to let the people know. For me, it's a duty for me to do it. If not, I would tell you they succeed to broke me.
Yeah. Right.
I don't want to be broken. I will continue. At least I build my own strategy for the future. How can I have I defend myself and to put a mechanism to do it in the next time, because this time was not like before. You will find people who spent 20 years in the Israeli jails. They would tell you this 6 months, not like 20 years before. It's a
Right.
new experience. It's very new experience. They are taking revenge, and they
Since
are.
October, since the attack of October 7th. Yeah. And again, if you're listening and watching live here, we're going to put some links after this is finished of some articles and some videos that have been posted, so you can see that other testimonies and other stories that Munther's relating to that are corroborated by this as well. Munther, can you talk to us a little bit about your release? Why were you finally released? How long were you in prison? What happened when you were released? What they tell you, and how'd that go?
Even releasing you, yani they are playing on us. They told me that they came to my cell and they told me that they are taking for another section. So I passed through the other sections. I told them this is they told me, no, we are taking you to another prison. To find myself out, but after signing agreement that is forbidden for me to speak about what happened there.
Mm.
They claim that they don't have space in the Israeli prisons. They have to bring in new people, so they release 40 of us, and they were planning to release like another 1,000, but Ben Gvir stopped it, and they did not release them. Now they are planning to build cages. This is what they said in the Israeli media, that they want to do a new place to bring more prisoners, to put them in cage. So yes, and
Yeah.
till now I was there for the last time for three months. In total, I spent 2 years, but
Mhm.
now I don't know how I was free and why. It's the administrative detention even. This
Yeah.
is like,
Right.
you don't know when you will be released. Sometimes you knew that tomorrow I have to be released, but by the end of the day, they will bring for you another 6 months, and you will spend another 6 months. So,
Yeah.
in general, it have to be, yani they could not have more than 2 years. But in general, it is for the administrative detention, you will spend 6 months, more or less.
Munther, this is a really important thing for our audience to understand, is that there's a category of detention that doesn't include charges. And Gary mentioned this at the outset, that you could be held and then the detention extended, and you have no access to the charges, you have no access to lawyers or aid. And so that's something that we really want to make sure people understand.
No, you have access to your lawyer, and you have some charges, yes,
Oh.
but it's not the real ones. Always there is a secret file that between the Israeli Shabak, the Israeli intelligence, and the court. So they will not announce for the people, the public, what it is, but the last decision to be detained is by the hands of the Israeli Shabak, the Israeli intelligence. So, and they would give you 6 months, extending them for another six. The average, the level would be 2 years. And you don't know how many days you will be there, how many months you will be there. It is fake courts that they are doing there.
What, Munther, would be an example of a charge they may place?
Incitement, like with me,
Incitement.
they said that I was doing incitement, participating in demonstrations against the occupation. So this is what they are claiming. Even posting up on Facebook now, they will take it to the court. You will spend 6 months for each post that you are posting.
We're getting some feedback, guys. I think it might be better if we mute ourselves just to make sure we get rid of that feedback when we're not talking.
Munther, we're worried about you and worried for your safety and the safety of your family. We would think that peace activists like yourself would be welcomed by Israel, or why wouldn't you be somebody that Israel would ensure was safe and protected? You're not advocating violence. How come a peace activist could be a target?
This is the occupation. One of the things that the occupation are afraid from, to let the people to see the fact on the ground. We are trying to send for the people the fact what is going on the ground, and we were trying to protect the people, especially in the Bedouin communities, to let them live there. So by neutralizing us, they can do whatever they want. Like after the 7th of October, they blocked us into Area A or in prisons. So they have free things to do. They free the settlers' hands to control more land. Because of that, they succeed to empty 25 Bedouin communities. So they have more land. And for us, it's forbidden to speak to the people. You will not find more demonstrations in the nonviolent demonstrations in the West Bank since more than 6 months or 10 months. You don't. If you would search for someone to speak about the experience in the Israeli jails, you will not find many people they are willing to speak because they are afraid. I'm afraid, but I have a duty to do it. But the others, they are afraid to do it. So they are trying to shut our mouths and to let us live as slaves. They don't want us to raise our voices. And they knew that we succeed to change all over. And you can see it clearly in the US now, a lot of young people, they don't want us to use our minds. Before, if you would tell the Palestinian people that we will meet a Jewish group, they will say, what, you are... No, you will find a lot of Jewish people now standing with our rights because we hosted them before here. I used to do tours in the camp here, telling them about our stories. Yes, we have the Jewish voice, or a lot of people that we, as non-violent activists, we convince our people that they are like us and they are willing to help us to live free. So yes, they are afraid from our sound. They want just the sound of bombs or weapons. They don't want to hear the voice of the normal people, that they want to live in peace. So yes, for them, I think we are dangerous.
Munther, one of the things that we heard, and again, what we hear might not be fully correct, but is that Hamas said that their attack was for a number of reasons, and one of the reasons was because of the number of people that are detained in Israeli prisons. And they're saying, we're taking hostages because we want this prisoner swap. From your understanding, what caused, why did Hamas attack? What was going on there? What was the cause of that? What do you understand about that?
I would tell you, it's not. Yes, it's one of the reasons that after Oslo agreement, the Israeli government have to release the prisoners. That the prisons have to be empty. Because of that, we signed Oslo agreement to live free and to have our prisoners back. But we didn't. But I think that what happened, it was because of what Israel is doing, like blocking Gaza. Gaza was under the siege since 17 years. The people don't have water, don't have electricity. They don't have even more hospitals. The poverty is very high. And it's not just in Gaza. The division, even here in the West Bank, the division between Gaza and the West Bank, they weakened the Palestinian Authority in Gaza before, and it was the Israeli occupation. All these things brought us to 7th of October. If Israel would give the Palestinian people their rights, and if they would give us the ability to do a democratic elections again in Gaza and in the West Bank, I think we would have a leadership which can take the responsibility to continue. I will not say that I want the 7th of October to happen again. I want to live in peace. As I told you, I don't want more people to be killed, not in our side and not in their side. But the reason behind the 7th of October is not the Palestinians. It is the Israeli aggression. And even the one who put Hamas in power there was the occupation. Even when they withdrew in Gaza, they did not brought the Palestinian Authority to tell them that we will withdraw from Gaza. They just took a decision and they withdrew from Gaza, and they let Gaza alone. So I would tell you the reason behind this is the occupation. The problem is the occupation. If we would not have the occupation, we would not have the 7th of October.
Right.
So, yeah.
So I think as these reports are coming out, New York Times, BBC, CNN, reports of abuse in Israeli prisons, we're hearing official responses from the Israeli government or from the IDF that these are isolated events. These are bad apples. These are individual guards that are abusing the system, and the system itself is fine. So are you seeing this as something isolated or something systemic in the system?
No. It's something systematic because they have cameras all over. You can see the cameras there. Bringing the dogs is a systematic. Taking our clothes is systematic. Taking the cafe. We don't have cafe in prison. They used to come with the cafe just to let us smell the cafe. Taking the cigarettes, taking the food, the amount of food, gathering the prisoners and beating them, and they would call it hafla, a party. No. It is a systematic thing and I have faced this because the BBC, they did with me an interview, and they tried to interview the people from Israel, from the department which is responsible on Israel prisons. They said that he's a liar. I told them, let's go to have cameras when they beaten us in front of the 20 cells. Let's open cameras, and if I'm lying, take me to the prison again. They did not respond. It's a systematic one. Ibn Gvir is the responsible on these prisons. Everything would happen, and they usually told us after the 7th of October, not like before, and that these prisons are run by the army now. So we will do whatever the army asked us. It is not a life. It's death. It's devil.
Munther, when I think about the aggression that we see in Gaza, the Israelis seem to have one narrative about that. It's retaliation for October 7. They're going to destroy Hamas, etc. On the other hand, you're not in Gaza. And so therefore, is there another explanation for why they would be so aggressive with those of you who are in the West Bank? Is it purely revenge? As they were talking to you in prison, were they talking about October 7 on a regular basis? So you're having to pay for October 7?
They would, there is a say in Hebrew, the good Palestinian is the dead one. So since we are alive, we are the same. They are dealing with us the same. Even now, if you would hear the Israeli leaders, we don't want to have Fathistan instead of Hamasistan. Fatah is your partner on the ground, having peace. So even your partner, you don't want him to be there. But I would tell you, they are dealing with us, all of us as Palestinians. So they are taking revenge from us because we are Palestinians. You will find people in Gaza, their relatives here, their families here, or people from here, their families in Gaza. We are Palestinians. This is what they are trying to do, to separate between us. Gaza is Gaza, and here the West Bank. We don't have any more Palestine. This is what they are trying to do. So this is what we have to work on. We are united. We have to be united. One of our biggest mistakes that we are divided now between Fatah and Hamas. But even the people in the US or in Belgium or in France, they are standing against this genocide happening in Gaza. But I would tell you again, we have another kind of genocide here. Since the beginning of the 7th of October, we have more than 700 people have been killed in the West Bank. If you would go to Nur Shams refugee camp, it's destroyed. It's in the West Bank. If you would go to Jenin camp, it's the same. If you would go to Bethlehem, since the 7th of October, the people are not working. The economical situation is very hard. They are putting the people in the corner. I'm afraid that we will have another cycle of violence here in the West Bank that we don't want to have. But I would tell you, the one who's behind all of this, I'm so sorry, is the US government. We have to see a change there. We saw the change with the young people in the US, but I think we have to see a change in the political level to tell. We don't want anyone to fight Israel. Just to tell them, stop killing the people.
Yep. David? You're muted, David. I can unmute you. There you go.
Munther, thank you very much.
Amen. Absolutely.
Brief parting word would you like to give to the people who are watching right now?
We want to live free.
Amen.
We want the war to stop in Gaza. Please. We are exhausted with this blood and this genocide that's happening in Gaza. We are afraid from another genocide here, attacking the people. The settlers, the Israeli settlers, are attacking the people in the West Bank. We want to live in peace. This is what we want. This is the small and the simple thing that we want. We want to live in peace. We want the people to know that we are not killers, we are not terrorists, we are fighting for peace and justice for all. This is what we want.
Do you think, Munther, that this whole conflict from October 7 to today is generating just an enormous amount of anger toward Israel, which is going to make peaceful negotiation impossible?
Thank you for your time with us.
Again, I didn't hear well.
Go ahead, Gary. Say it again, Gary.
Yeah. So, Munther, what I'm asking is, the current conflict since October, rather than pacifying the Palestinians, has it not created an enormous anger now, which has never been there before, and that anger is going to make peaceful reconciliation impossible?
Maybe. I don't know, but it is like a spark. Maybe, yes, we would go to have peace here, but it is like a spark would make it, or to go for a new cycle of violence, or to, if we would feel that the people are with us, we can do it. But this is what we want. We want the people to stand together, to go for a new opportunity to have peace on the ground. Not here and in Gaza. We will not separate between here and Gaza. We will not be in peace alone here. We don't want to live in peace alone. We want to live in peace all together, as I told you.
Mhm.
West Bank, all over.
Munther, again, we can't thank you enough for your spending your time with us, and your story is heartbreaking, and it's I think what I'm hearing is that it's on us to speak to our government to help end this thing for your sake, for the sake of everybody, for the sake of Israelis, but for the sake of the people of Palestine. Yeah, for the sake of the people in Gaza, for the sake of the people that are the hostages in Gaza, let alone the hostages that are being detained in Israeli prisons around the country. We thank you so much for spending your time with us. Please keep in touch. Obviously, we know that you and David have a relationship, so we'll do that. And yeah, we hope when this ends, we can get together again, maybe, and celebrate together. We want to thank you for that. And those of you who are watching us online, we want to thank you for we're going to spend a few minutes together as a team, kind of with a debrief as Munther says goodbye. But so thank you so much, Munther.
Goodbye.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Again, if you're watching us, as Gary mentioned at the beginning, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel to get automatic updates to anything that is coming up as well. But we encourage you to like the episode, to comment on the episode, and to share the episode. The more interaction there is on episodes like this, the more it goes up that algorithm for YouTube, and the more people that get the message. Stories like this just have to be told. I don't know what you guys think, but this was a hard one.
Yeah. For me, yeah, it was a devastating to hear his story. I don't mind. I think that he went into some more graphic detail than most would ever give, but those are the things that I think we have to hear. Mm-hmm. I guess I'm sometimes just so frustrated that we in the West, in our media, don't really hear any of these stories. Right. Just in the last day, the New York Times ran yet another first-page piece about the story of an Israeli hostage that came out of Gaza and what his experience was like. But, you know, where's the story like this, a Munther story that also runs in the New York Times that says, well, here was my experience when I was a hostage. We don't see that in the West. Right. And when I've tried to raise this story in other contexts, people say, nope, not true. You're making it up.
Right.
That makes me crazy.
Yeah, that was hard. You
can't make a story like this up. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, that was hard. And yet he's probably one of the least targeted. You know, I mean, the stories that could be told by others, I'm sure, are even worse. And then you have this prison that we're hearing about, Sde Teiman, which is where all the Gazans are being taken. Yeah. And the situation there seems to be even worse. Sorry, that's my dog barking.
That's okay. He's upset too.
Yeah, my gosh, that was a tough one. And I agree, Gary, that some of that explicit language is stuff we need to hear. I still think there are going to be people that say, well, these are isolated bad apple rogue guards. And so what you really don't have is a systematic problem. But he was pretty clear that, in fact, this was widespread, systematic, and pervasive.
Well, I think it's telling that the Red Cross, Red Crescent are not actually permitted into these places. So there's no exposure. The Israelis really keep these places locked down. And I imagine it's because they don't want the news out.
Yeah. David, do you have any thoughts?
Well, I was getting a lot of glitches in the feed. I hope that was just for me and not for everyone. I hope that doesn't interrupt his ability to be heard or understood, or for people to grasp
we didn't get any
what it is he's
glitches on our
trying
end
to
that I
talk
know
about.
of.
I don't know if that'll go through in the conclusion.
Yeah.
You didn't? Oh, wonderful. Yeah. He's
Did
a
you hear, David? Did you hear anything new this time?
brave man, you know, like you
Yeah.
said.
You know,
And you've got to respect him. He's a great man
Yeah.
I hope we are able to stay in touch with
of
him.
integrity,
And
and it's a privilege.
I would imagine there's some real likelihood that he's going to get picked up again after, if he
Yeah.
keeps doing things like this.
Yeah. This isn't his first interview. Yeah. Yeah. And we'll put in the show notes as well once this goes live. Some of the links to some of these other, some of the ones that I think was just sent amongst us as a team just the other day was people are going crazy. I mean, they are losing their minds. And the one bodybuilder that came out went in as a bodybuilder. These are distressing, you know. And again, this doesn't undermine the fact that there are hostages in Gaza too. Okay, but the whole point of this has to stop for the sake of everyone. This is not going to go well. So yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. We will keep everybody informed again on our next upcoming event. We don't have one scheduled right now, but we're working on that. We'll get back to you soon. Obviously, subscribe to the CFIP YouTube page. You can follow me on Facebook and elsewhere as I post these things to determinedtruth.com, or follow Gary or Bruce or David or any of the other team, Ross or Michael and the rest of the team. So thank you guys so much for your time, and appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah, thanks for letting